Excerpt from Chapter 5, El Dandy. Pedro threw the car to the left, cutting off another in line. The man in the other car leaned his full weight on the hunk and kept on driving, hitting Pedro's back bumper. Pedro opened the door, stood up, turned around, and yelled, "Motherfucker!" The other driver stepped out of the car, revealing he had the body of a Latino Greek god. The image hit Pedro with the thought that he was staring at his physical opposite, a, a person possessing all the athletic attributes that he lacked. The man was tall like a basketball forward, like a Mano, and had the frame of a professional lucha libre wrestler, like El Santo, the man in the silver mask. He had a wide back, round shoulders that looked like he wore pads made of coconut halves, triceps that could be seen from every angle, and biceps the size of a regular person's calves. His spandex t shirt, at least one size too small, stretched so much it looked like it had become part of his skin. It took Pedro more than a second to realize the bodybuilder wasn't standing there bare breasted. Caramba, whispered Pedro, his jaw hanging down to the pavement. A burst of awe hit him as a primal reaction until he came to his senses and visualized all the pain that those muscles could inflict on him. Scared and regretful, he jumped back in the car, drove over the curb, and past the line of cars as people moved out of his way. Behind him followed the other car, still honking and yelling with the raging insults that Pedro couldn't hear but could decipher clearly through the rearview mirror. After a matter of seconds that felt like minutes, Pedro finally made it to the street, his relieved smile coming to an abrupt end when he was forced to hit the brakes to stand in traffic, this time with no way out. Just as fast as the car came to a full stop, El Gordo Pedro saw his pursuer get out of the car again and walk towards him. "Come out of the car, you cocksucking motherfucker!" the man yelled. "Let's settle this right here, right now, mano a mano, hombre a hombre." The man was definitely some kind of bodybuilder, probably a luchador, surely a resurrection of El Santo. Except he wasn't wearing his silver mask today, but it didn't matter because no one ever dared look at his face. They just stared at his torso and his gigantic pectoral muscles chiseled to look like limestone tiles cemented to his breast. Pedro, seemingly paralyzed, sat still in the car and observed his executioner to be on the side view mirror. El Gordo could hold two simultaneous thoughts in his head, a virtue that sometimes felt like a waste of brain power. Right now, he was processing how to get out of this situation. He was also staring at El Santo's stomach, counting the number of abdominal muscles sculpted from the inside of the fully stretched elastic t-shirt. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho. Mierda! He has an eight pack, Pedrito said out loud, coming to the premature conclusion that there was no way out. He had always heard that elite athletes and movie stars worked their asses off to develop six packs. No one had ever told him that people could exercise so much they could even rip their stomachs into eight separate muscles. How was that even possible? Who is this freak? Pedro felt indeed fucked. But this wasn't the first time the short, fat, chain smoking Pedrito Calderón had to face a taller, fitter, and stronger rival man to man. Onlookers were always quick to predict Pedro's defeat in the build up to these repeated showdowns. Meu Deus, what did they have against him? It's always the big guys who have the least sense of humor, initially at least. Left with no other choice, Pedro made a quick summary in his head about all the times he had managed to talk his way out of a real fist fight. His batting average was pretty good, and with that in mind, his confidence built up. He got out of the car with his hands raised at breast height, as if to show he wasn't armed, at least not with guns. The weapons he held were two empty glasses hooked with the fingers in one hand, and in the other, a half full, or was it half empty, bottle of Johnny Walker Black. Wait, wait, wait. Hold it, Pedro said as El Santo's resurrection approached him until they stood face to face in what seemed like a comical, about to become tragic, scene from a Cantinflas movie. Calm down, mi amigo. We don't need to settle anything, my friend. What? El Santo yelled, standing in Pedro's face. You called me, motherfucker, back there, so you bet your ass we have something to settle. Exactly. That's the one key detail, Pedrito said with a smile and holding his index finger at face height, pointing up for emphasis while the other fingers held a firm grip on the neck of the bottle. I called you motherfucker back there. You called me motherfucker right here. 1-1. The score's already been settled. It's a draw. But I am fat and short, and you are fit and tall, so you win. There's no longer a need to scuffle. Let's call it even. You win. Pedrito handed the man a glass and poured him and himself a drink. Salud, Pedro said, raising his glass, for a peaceful settlement. El Santo stood quiet for an infinite second until he burst out in laughter. Ha ha! You're a real clown, you know, he said, still laughing and raising his glass. Salud!